here. I'm glad
Good
you're here.
morning. Welcome back. Jen's awesome show, Metaverse Mondays. I have a panel of absolutely fascinating people here with me. We'll start with some brief introductions. I think we mostly have seen each other's faces before. So I will start so everybody gets a feel for it. I'm Jen. I'm with The Uplift, and this is my show. And I'm going to tell you something you don't know about me because that's exciting. And it's getting to the point where it's also tough to figure that out. I put before the show last night, I put up a list on Twitter of if I were going to teach a literature course on banned or controversial books, what books would be on that list. I have read most of them. So that's the thing you probably didn't know about me. Most of the books on that list I have read. So who is next? Any takers?
My name is Mike Smart. I'm the CEO of MetaBuilders and Smart Digital Payments. And something you don't know about me is I have an actual face. I just don't ever show it.
I saw it for a few minutes. Very nice.
I can verify you exist.
Very nice. Thumbs up.
I will go on record that Mike Smart does exist. Yes, I have met him.
Although elusive, he exists.
Yes. All right, who's next here?
Well, my name's Jordan Page. I'm the founder of Firefly Education Network, and we're building a blockchain-based homeschool network and platform that will reward students with cryptocurrency and gives teachers and content creators who may be leaving the public school system somewhere where they can share their talents and just build an education economy based on blockchain technology. Something you don't know about me is over the weekend, I moved a 3,000-pound chicken coop using 2x4s and rounded wooden fence posts that like the Egyptians. Moved it onto a trailer and used redneck technology. I'm allowed to say that because I'm a redneck. And it was incredible. It was wonderful. I was very proud of myself.
Join the club, man. Join the club.
Awesome.
Super awesome.
All right, who's next here?
I guess I'll go. I'm Papa Joe, host of the Papa Joe Show. I also own a company, Aster Blockchain Consulting. I have multiple projects. I do business-to-business stuff. I also do one-on-one consultations. And I tried to be influential in the blockchain/crypto sphere, mainly because I've been in the blockchain space since almost the beginning as an earlier miner, and have watched it grow up and all that fun stuff, and have know lots of different projects. Love meeting new people, that kind of thing, and what they're building and what they're doing. Something you didn't know about me. Growing up, I was actually home educated. And as part of that, we were able to do lots of different things. And one of the things that we loved to do was I was a competitive swimmer, and I did that through high school and stuff like that. So fun stuff.
Whoa.
Awesome. Thanks very much. And who's next?
I'll go.
All right.
Cheryl Rosenblum, and you see my sister over there, Janice. We're working together on different projects. And what you don't know about me, now that we're thinking of homeschooling, it made me remember that I went to 19 different schools before age 16. It just, yeah. Some years I went to 4 or 5 different schools. So.
Were you a difficult child?
We moved a lot.
Holy.
We would move like 4 or 5 times a year. It was moved here, moved there, and different houses, And it seems like any new school always had math, never English. So I'd always end up in that math part of it. And saying that, Janice always corrects my emails.
My what?
Correct my emails.
Oh my God. So you responded last night to someone. I said,
all right.
Or you sent it out. And she's like, oops, I already sent it. I'm like, oh gosh. But I checked. It wasn't so bad. But yeah, I'll go next. I'm Janice Condera. My sister Cheryl. It's just been such an exciting ride we've been on. Our business is Bitcoin Consultants Worldwide. And welcome to our Metaverse Mondays. This is really fun. And I think this is our 5th or 6th Monday consecutive. And we've had a really wonderful lineup each and every time. And I thank each of you for being here. We have blockchain connections, Bitcoin Consultants Worldwide, and something really exciting is our NFTV platform that you're going to be hearing a lot about. What you don't know about me, excuse me, is after 18 years in oil and gas, here I am now, a visionary in the metaverse and exploring, and there's so much that we're doing right now, and wanting to give everybody a place in the metaverse, whatever they think best fits their needs. We're here.
Awesome. Thank you. And last one here. Go ahead, please.
Last but not least, my name is Derwin Logan, Open-Minded Bitcoin. I chose that name because you need to be open-minded when you come into this space. I realized that probably about 4 years ago when it was introduced to me, 4 or 5 years ago, 2015, somewhere around there. And getting into the space was scary, but yet it was bringing me excitement and what we can do with this space and bring it to others. What you don't know about me is I started a company to help educate the masses, and I'm talking about not just the rich people, the everyday average McDonald's worker, or the everyday average Joe on how they can earn income in the crypto space. So that's why I joined it. That's why I became a part of it. The community is great. Everybody that I meet in this community has been great so far. Sure, it has its shady side, but for the most part, it's 10 times better than the dirty fiat system that we have going.
Thank you.
You're
Good
welcome.
to see you.
Nice meeting
And I have someone else just jumped in with audio. So welcome to the show. We're just doing introductions. So if you would please let us know who you are, what you're doing, your project, and something we don't already know about you. And I think you're muted. Perhaps I shall help.
I've been outdone in elusivity. They don't have a face or a voice.
Sorry, we missed the first part there. What is your name?
Oh, my bad. My name is Brandy.
Hello.
Hey, how are y'all? Yeah, I don't have a face. I'm the faceless lady.
Well, welcome. And
Oh my goodness. I didn't know you were going to be on the show.
Hey, Janice.
Hey, Brandy is new and wanting to learn about the metaverse.
awesome.
And so yeah, enjoy the conversation, Brandy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, welcome. And all right, so I think we'll get started here. We're going to talk a bit about homeschooling, and I'm going to start just diving right on in with my burning question. We had originally thought about homeschooling and decided against it for a few reasons, but one of the biggest is that we have very, very strong-willed children, which is the polite way of saying they don't learn easily. And I don't think it's anything about us. We have gotten them through a few things, but they're very, very strong-willed. And that's a good thing and a challenge. We did decide early on that if we were going to send them to public education, they'd have to be learning something they couldn't get at home. So they're both in French immersion and are fluent. If I were to suddenly homeschool them, my big issue, their big issue, would be that they actually quite like everything in French, and I don't speak French, and neither does my husband. So my big burning question for everyone in the room here is, how do I track down resources for education in an immersion language when it's not one that I speak? And how do I run that as a homeschooling parent?
So I guess I can speak to that a little bit. We're looking into some of the same things as well from a language speaking. There are online tutors. You can actually have like a one-on-one Zoom, and it's where you actually have that immersion, if you will, and you have that conversation with them just like you would in a class. But it's you have that one-on-one online. It's I've had a couple of friends who have their kids and one's in Mandarin, and he's also learning French right now as well, and he can almost fluently speak Mandarin,
Wow.
and that is actually he's 10 years old, 12 years old, something like that ballpark. It's pretty impressive actually. So there are, I don't remember off the top of my head what they're using, but there are resources available to that. One thing in the homeschooling realm, if you will, I like to say home education because school ends at some point. Education never ends, and we try to incorporate in our stuff not just the academics, but also the other real world applications to why they would need to learn what they're learning. Because for me, I was home educated, right, and a lot of the stuff I dealt with was my, I guess, frustration in this space, or just like every kid does when they're in that point, whatever. Why do I got to do this? The question, why? What is the point of this? Because some of it is really one of those things. Is like you feel like you're wasting time, or I'm never going to use this. If you can explain or show them how they're going to use something, it makes all the world of a difference. It did for me, and those are big things that I like to we focus on and whatnot whenever those questions come up. But as far as language is concerned, there are resources for you out there.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
I'll jump in here too on that question, Jen, because this is something that we're going to be offering with Firefly is access to those kinds of resources. We want to be a platform where, French tutors or French teachers can teach they could do one-on-one, or they could do 1-on-100. I mean, they could be teaching French to kids in multiple countries at the same time. And homeschool parents need these resources, which is why we're building this in the first place. I'm a homeschool dad of 7 children, and we've been schooling for homeschooling for 10 years. And it's been a wild ride, and it's been hard to find the resources that we've needed through the years, like a language tutor type thing being one. But you are also the primary educators for your kids when you are homeschooling. We do believe in self-directed education, and we started out unschooling for the first few years, and that really gave the kids a love of learning, and they're self-directed learners in many ways. But ultimately, you are the buck stops with you. You guys are the primary educators, and just because you don't speak French doesn't mean that you're not qualified to teach them plenty of other things. We end up learning a lot that we've forgotten, and we end up learning a lot that we were never taught by teaching our own kids.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, definitely agree with that one. Sorry, just had to say yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree to that too. Teaching is a whole other can of worms. And fairness, I'm getting them to teach me things. They read with me in French, and I have picked up a few things. So it can go both ways. Excellent. So let's go around the room here and talk a bit about challenges. What would you say your number one challenge is? And then give a space here for anyone to respond if there is a real obvious solution. So what's a home education challenge that you face, and a solution for that if we can come up with one?
I'd like to add one thing that's a real big challenge for me, being a single father, the homeschooler, where I don't have a female energy around to help me with certain activities. And I've found that it's been difficult to make things fun, in the sense of, like, I don't sing little jingles, and we don't get stickers and stuff like that. And it'd be nice to have some sort of template to be like, here is the type of things that would make a child be active in a fun type of way, instead of just super hardcore militant learning for 3 hours and then it's like, do whatever.
I share that challenge. So any suggestions out there?
Sing a song.
Well, number one, you have to remember, it's not all up to you. Like there are other people most likely in your network of friends, and there's people around more and more now, more than ever, that are homeschooling and that have different talents and have different skill sets, beyond yours, beyond mine, and we need to rely on each other. Community is such an important aspect of this that we were missing for most of the time we've been homeschooling. We were missing the community, and we were having to like Mike is saying, basically do it all ourselves. But now we're finding, like, we moved to an area where there's a lot of homeschool families. My wife got certified as a teacher up here in Washington, and now she's running a homeschool location, which is really the first Firefly physical location is here on our property, and we're renovating our big shop to be a schoolhouse for grades, kindergarten through high school. And but the community is part of that, because lots of different parents and they teach different courses. We had a parent teach a course on etiquette. We have parents that are going to teach a course on mechanics and how to work on a car. Like starting as young as like 6 or 7. We have parents that do all different kinds of courses, because that's an area of expertise that they have that we can use as an elective. We had a lady come in and then every Thursday and doing a different art project with the kids, anywhere from making chocolate to painting with watercolors. So there's a lot of people around you that you probably don't even realize have all these skill sets, and you need to lean on each other. You need to bring them in and say, hey, how would you feel about coming in and teaching this? Get together with other families, Jen. Get together with the people that are around you, because there's a lot more resources there than you probably realize.
I was gonna just echo that real quick. Is that there's the homeschool groups, as I like to call them in our area. You just got to simply do a Facebook search for them. They're everywhere, and they are local to you. Like, for one of the other things I would say that I think helps a lot is just, back when I was going through this, there was no resources. There's no sports. There was no nothing. Now you have homeschool sports. Now you have homeschool everything outside of this stuff. Like, and if you wanted to, you can even do, especially if you guys are single parents and whatnot, you can look into going into doing like a hybrid scenario where it's private school, but not really. It's still the academical related stuff. They still have access to those types of things. And it's more, they give the curriculum and the scheduling, and you ensure like 2 or 3 days a week. And then the other time, like I think it's 2 days a week typically. And the other 3 days a week, you're making sure they're doing their work and you're helping them along with what they're doing, kind of thing. That way you don't have to feel so overwhelmed. You got to go figure out the curriculum and stuff like that. My amazing wife, if it wasn't for her, I don't know how we would be able to do this, to be honest with you, because I could not even imagine trying to do it from a single parent standpoint. She is a rock solid foundation when it comes to that stuff. And I'll tell you, it's not easy. There are things that she struggles with. I can't speak to all of the struggles, like the number one struggle. But it is definitely, it comes and goes. Different ones come and go and stuff like that. So, but if you look for something like that to maybe partner with, like Firefly setting this stuff up, this is a great opportunity, but that's going to be in the metaverse or on the online, in the blockchain space. And it's going to allow families across the country to have an immediate access to, I guess, a global homeschool group, I guess you could call it. That'd be
that's the idea, man. That is
so
well said.
Stuff like that. When I was growing up doing this stuff, no, it was okay. So we went to church a lot, and there's a lot of homeschool families and whatnot in church. That is also a big area. If you can find a local church that has homeschool families, just so you can talk to the other moms, talk to the other dads. How are y'all doing this stuff, right? We're not quite at that point yet where we need like the shop or like whatever, but we're looking at like Lego robotics. We're looking at stuff for the kids to learn how to do different programming things when they get to the point to where they need a computer, and they might be now with this whole metaverse stuff with the Minecraft, everything. They're not getting an off-the-shelf computer or a laptop. They're going to build one, and dad's going to teach them, that kind of stuff. So that's the type of thing that we as parents get to have and offer our kids that you just don't get in school. You just don't get it.
Papa Joe should do a Firefly course on how to build your own computer.
Yes, please.
You know what? if I can put some things down off my plate, that would be fun. And then I'm gonna do it anyways. You might as well just share it up for everybody. It's not as hard as people think. Think about it as Legos, just bigger and more powerful.
Well, the Lego robotics is a really cool thing because there's a teacher up at the public school in our district that actually offers those Lego robotics classes, and they do competitions. They actually go to competitions, and they've opened it up to homeschool kids. So the homeschool kids,
cool.
because it's an after school program, so they can actually we can actually bring the kids, and our kids have done it, and they go up there and the teacher, they do a whole class on robotics, and the kids love it. I can't do that. I don't know the first thing about it. So again, that's us leaning on somebody else. Like they're just, I mean, we live in the middle of nowhere, and there's that kind of stuff. So people who live in more populated centers where there's more opportunity, I mean, like there's so many options out there. You just have to look for them.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too. Our local university has a robotics club, and they do robot fights. And it is incredibly fun, but also there's a lot of good learning in there if you can afford it. It's not the cheapest.
Sure.
But we went down, I think my son he must have been 6 or 7 at the time, so still pretty little. And I just asked, who do you let into your club? Is there an age limit? They're like, no, just come on down, let's go. Okay, sign us up. So there are some things out there. Libraries also have a lot of things that are sort of similar, and sometimes have access to resources that the rest of us might not in terms of setting up classes. So that's something to keep in mind too.
I'll have to say, I raised 5 kids myself, and they were not homeschooled, but I would absolutely do it now. With that being said, I knew a lot of people who were homeschooling, and there is a huge network out there. You can reach out through, whatever church, whatever organizations, they're available. And I highly encourage you to look into that. And I think, Mike, that would be a great option for you. There's so many resources out there. And now here we can play in the metaverse with it. So how does that look and feel to y'all?
And even though Facebook sucks to a lot of us, but there is a mom's Facebook. I know my wife is into the whole homeschooling using Facebook and mothers' partnerships on Facebook and that type of social media outlets. So,
well, it's good to have a spot that, at least for our community and network, that people could come up with ideas. Jordan's there, just a place where we could have events, educational stuff, just to make it fun ourselves. Like if we're going to build a building, make a contest out of it. If we're going to do anything in Minecraft, then let's teach them, why are we doing the building? What are we putting it in there? I'd like to have a lot of educational opportunities for children, and help them, because not everyone's going to want the same thing, but they all have questions. So if we're able to incorporate that into more interviews or more fun things in the metaverse, then I think that would be something that I think people could learn from and feel more comfortable. Because if you weren't thinking about homeschooling before, you should probably think about it now. And if you have a good network and a good team to help you, I think that would benefit everybody right now.
And if you have an educational platform, we're the largest landowners, I think, from what I understand, in Etheria, and we have a place for you. Reach out to us. And
we're open to it. Like we have space. We've got the underground area. We have 32 blocks, and we want to represent, a good network there, but the underground area, we want to have a lot of that for education, for contests, for getting together. So we're open-minded. We're open-minded. Bitcoin, what a great name. We're open-minded to it. There's a lot of people here, and I think that with the space down there and getting it built out and having people have fun with it. I think that it would be a good opportunity to have, like, I hear you could do a lot of wonderful things in the metaverse. I hear you could go down there and have groups and people talking. So, but we want to hear more. Like, how can we have our space help you guys? And that's what we're looking for is we got space. Let's use it for something. We're going to have that channel, NFTV, for visionaries, specifically a community channel, so we can talk about things like this. So we want to put it out there and see how we could best get the word out on whatever it is we're wanting to do. Homeschooling, yeah, one of home education part of that's incredible. We have to teach our kids how to get along in this new world, and let's see how we can get this done.
I think one of the things that I'm seeing and hearing that could work out here is using the metaverse as just that community gathering space and having regular events where people can meet other people who are doing home education, people who have the networks and who have the ideas, the strategies, the curricula, and I don't know, get together and talk things out, meet each other, have fun, and just even spend time, I guess, just being people, bouncing ideas around, because that seems to be something. Can I find homeschooling groups? I can, but I have to look here, and then I have to look there, and then I have to look here and there and everywhere. And some of them cost a lot of money, and some of them don't, and some of them are online, and some of them aren't, and it goes around in circles until it just feels like an overwhelming amount of work. But if I can know that I can go into Etheria once or twice a week and hang out, and there are going to be people in the mushroom forest who all have various home education experiences and community and things that can be offered and are willing to talk about it, to me, that sounds like a lot more fun. So that's a thought.
Yeah, and Minecraft kids seem to resonate with Minecraft. Like for me, it takes me a long time I'd never even heard of it before, but now I'm seeing, wow, these kids actually could adapt to that. It's just an easy entry that they're used to. They're already used to the games. They're already used to Minecraft. They're already into building. So it seems like such a cool entrance. Like, yeah, they literally should be able to easily transition into a large space, be excited about it because they helped create it, and think, there, you don't like something, you tear it down, build it up. There's a lot of opportunities there. So I think that we could use it to our advantage.
And what we love about this is what some of the kids can bring to the table.
Oh, crazy how excited they are.
We are so blown away. We're getting to bring on board a third intern who's probably 18, 19 years old. They're geniuses.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of really good interns from actually the Float group. We've got a great intern that helped. She actually did the website for NFTV Worldwide. She did it. Now we are going to change it to a better platform, which Alexander, he does our the platforms and everything, but she did the whole thing. Like, they're into building there. I think I don't even have to ask. They're just like, yeah, what can I do now? And then with this new intern, I was looking at his resume for being 18 years old, and I'm like, whoa, where did you learn all that stuff? He's like, yeah, I do NFTs, and then I do it off this chain and that chain and this chain and that chain, and then he just like went on. I thought, wow, you're 18. Like, I know he didn't learn it in public school. I emailed him back. I just want to know, where did you learn all that stuff? I'm waiting for his response, but that's pretty impressive.
I was going to say, a lot of things are changing in the world of education, right? I think that universities in the future will end up disappearing. I think that public school, public education stuff will end up going away, at least as we know it. because the world is waking up to the poison that's being taught in the schools, and it's indoctrinating our children in ways that we just do not need or want. We want them to be not self-educated, but self-starting, self-motivated, able to get out and figure something out. And on that note of figuring something out, right? You know, most of us grew up with the internet or were around when the internet became something. And one of the things that people I think are starting to realize is that when it comes, and I know this from a fact because of the stuff that I've looked into from a marketing perspective, the interesting things around that is that the money that is being changed and how marketing is being done is around educating people, education courses, paid education, paid this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? Kids nowadays can go to YouTube and learn how to do something like that. And then I will tell you right now, I regret going to college. It was for me, it was an actual waste of time because I started, because I was home educated, I started building custom computers at the age of 14 and selling them as a business. I started doing things in technical support right after that. After school, I started doing technical support stuff when it came to computers, internet, whatever, because no one understood it then, and it just worked for me. It just clicked. I got it. That type of mentality is imparted in all of our kids now, and the kids nowadays, they want to learn how to do something. Like my kid, he's really into being outdoors and whatnot, and he loves doing the whole survival stuff. So he goes out, he'll build this structure out of things and wood and stuff like that. But he learned how to do it on YouTube. Like that stuff I don't know how to do. I can do it a little bit, but not like that. Not like what he's learning. How to safely build an area where there's a fire, whatever, stuff like that. But think about it from he needs to learn how to do the Pythagorean's theorem. He can simply watch somebody doing that over and over and over and over and over again and get it and just plug and play the numbers. Or if he wants to learn how to program, use Java, use or my girls too, if they want to start doing this stuff. I'm thinking my son, because he's the oldest and he's just now entering these things. The other two are still much younger. And just starting to think about as we've done education thus far is changing. And Firefly, what you guys are building, and I'm sure you've already kind of maybe seen this in your stuff, the kids will go out and find the answer, and they're not going to go to the books. They're not going to go, they might, or that might be where they start, but they're going to go and find other ways, other faster, easier ways to do stuff. Because and this is something I teach the kids, is that there's a fine line between laziness and efficiency. If you can figure out a more efficient way to do it, you're not being lazy. You're just using your time wisely.
Working smarter, not harder.
Correct. Yeah. And we always drive home that you can always make more money. You can always buy another house. You can always buy another car. You can always build another relationship, make another friend. But you can never, ever make more time. You're only allowed so much time. So use your time wisely. And they really do. They take that to heart, and they go and do it. But again, when it comes to the homeschool and academic stuff, my wife, again, if it wasn't for her doing this stuff, I wish she could be here and whatnot, but it is 100% her. She's probably going to kill me for talking about her so much, but she is an angel and definitely loves doing this stuff. So,
but some people have that gifting. I have a gifting for teaching myself, but I'm better with one-on-one or in small groups. But if you try to get me in front of a class of lots of different age groups and different subjects and different grades, my head starts to implode. My wife, boom, 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 boom. That's her gift.
Same with mine. She just does it, and it's amazing. It's incredible. I could not do that.
Oh, we
See,
look forward to-
with Firefly, we're building this blockchain platform. My wife has no experience with blockchain other than just us having been in the community for a long time. But as far as from a technical standpoint, or what the implications are, what the applications are, that's not her wheelhouse. She's going to be more in charge of building curriculum and building relationships with different groups and different partners and overseeing the educational component. Whereas on my side, I'm heading up the build out and the technological component. So everybody has their own giftings. And you contribute what you do and she contributes what she does. But again, even within the family, that is community, because there's more than one of you running things. Like, there's more than one of you doing things. But outside of the family, there's other families that share your beliefs and share your values, which is something I wanted to bring up because of the discussion a little while ago about just meeting random people in Metaverse. You're going to run into other people that are homeschooling that are not on the same wavelength that you are. So you have to have some discernment there too. You almost have to kind of date, like with our family, we have to kind of date other families to see if we jive, because it turns out that we are diametrically opposed on some core values. Well, I don't want you teaching my kids. We already have that in the public school system. I don't want that, in a homeschool environment. So like, you really have to be discerning about who you're meeting in the metaverse and figure out like where they stand. Like what is their history? Like, I don't want anonymous people, teaching my kids what, especially if I'm not, present when they're in a particular room or a particular world. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like watching them on TikTok. You don't want
Yeah.
them on TikTok, but at the same time, there's lots that could be learned on there. But it's not the greatest platform on earth. So yeah, I totally get it.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the things that I was thinking of too, is that as much as I love the community, I love the meeting people, I love all the rest of it. One of the things that I love about the group of people who's here is that we do have vastly different perspectives, opinions, thoughts, ethics, morals, and things that drive us to succeed. I love that. Absolutely. Am I going to agree with all of you on everything? Probably not. And I love that. So I'm absolutely delighted about it. The flip side of that, which is related but not related, if I'm meeting people on the internet, whether it's in the metaverse or on a show like this or anywhere else, I'm going to be very, very cautious before introducing my kids. And that's something I've talked about my kids, but I'm betting that there might be maybe 2 people in this room who can tell me how old they are and anything that they might actually like. I don't talk about my kids. And that's a hard, for me, a security thing. So if I am going to be introducing my children to some education that is based in the metaverse, based online, I'm going to be doing it first. And so that's something I want to put out there. Sell me on your education, and I'll excitedly bring my kids in. And that is, there will be moral and ethical things there too. I want my kids to learn things that are wildly different than what they would get at home. And that's, to me, that's part of why I want others involved in that education. And then we can talk about it after and they can come to their own opinions. But I want that.
What about the token gating Mike was talking about? Where you kind of whitelist people or in order to get into the areas? I think that we had talked about that once. Is that a possibility? Like, to somehow, if we have a community, like, let's just say we're in Ethereum. Well, if let's just say we had a certain area that was for homeschooling and events that the average person couldn't get into, and that if you were to be a member of that, you had to be a member by somebody who was involved with it. Like, let's just say Jordan was part of it, or Papa Joe,
Yeah,
or Derwin, or something, where like now you can't just go and do anything in Ethereum. Like, I know I couldn't. It's not that easy. You got to be whitelisted for it. And I'm thinking that if we ever did something like that, whatever we're wanting to do in Ethereum, I'm not necessarily thinking it's a good idea at all to be open to the general public. I would say, hey, if we're going to do an event, it needs to be by an invitation, or you actually need to be a participant with a legitimate family of people that we know, rather than, hey, we're doing this here, and then just leaving it anyway. Like, if there's something like that, and then the parents are with them, you go in.
yes. Token gating
That's
is
not something.
it's under development at the moment, so it is something that is being worked on. The platform would be a little different, and I don't have all the answers yet for what that looks like, how it works, anything like that. It's all being developed and tested, and we're moving faster than we can tie our shoelaces at this point. But it's
build something down there, and if it's a certain time by invitation only,
yeah.
Seems as though you could, even if you're not token gating it, like just from what I've seen, they're not, you need to have, you could, if you had a big area in the metaverse and it's underground and it's like blocked off so the average person can't go in and you have to enter a door, and maybe if they're not paying for something, they at least, I was dropped this invitation,
Right, and so token gating absolutely exists and is functional on some other metaverses. So what could be done with that type of scenario is we could token gate a type of like Web 2 platform, like let's say, for example, voxels. So we have things in voxels where if you don't own a certain NFT, you can't enter these buildings. And then we could token gate that and then add a second, I guess, portal to the Uplift World or whatever, so that nobody can enter. The only way to get into that specific classroom would be through the voxels, which is basically a web address. So you could send out an email saying, okay, everyone, it's time. You have a link to the destination. They arrive directly in front of the place where the token gating would happen. And then we even have the ability to put time frames on these buildings. So like if you have a Tuesday at 11 NFT, now you can only enter every Tuesday at 11 o'clock. And it's really awesome.
Perfect.
But yeah, so there should be a way to control it in Ethereum anyway, if we're dropping an invitation, if it's only at a certain time. And then in the future, there's other worlds out there too. And as long as everyone's in a group or a network, it could go from one portal to another portal. And I think we just want to control it the best you can. And the only way to do that is a time frame and an invitation, and then have adults in there. And, I think that it could be done if planned, but at least it's good to know that nobody wants an open system where anybody can come in.
Yeah, I think with kids it's important. Go ahead.
I was gonna say real quick, guys and gals, I got to drop. I've got a hard stop here. So appreciate the time and thanks for having me. It really does mean a lot.
Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Papa Joe.
See ya.
Yeah,
thanks,
we'll talk more about it. We'll all be in touch with it.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
No worries. See you guys later.
Good.
All right. Well, we should probably wrap up here, and just we'll all go around the room one more time here. And what's one wish that you have? So imagine that there are no obstacles whatsoever, physical, real, metaversal, anything, technological, no obstacles, no budget constraints. You can make the biggest mess you want if it's messy, or not if it's not. What is your one wish for home education?
I want to decentralize all the things.
Uh-huh. I like that.
I wish it would
Well,
come
for
with
home education. Go ahead.
You
what?
Go ahead. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, no, you're fine. Go ahead.
No,
So what do you think, Derwin?
No, you first. I want to hear what he has to say better.
I just more or less wish that there was no laws against these things, or like less pushback against these type of platforms. Because let's say, for example, if someone like Firefly Education was able to just say, hey, here's what we established. This is the way in which we want to accept funding, and then they don't have to go to a VC and give up all of the ownership of the platform, that people could just source funding from the government to build stuff like this, instead of having pushback against it. That's what I wish.
Well, with block cities, for the most part, they could tokenize it. Like if you have any type of hard building, like any hard building, real estate and all that, you could technically, I mean, that platform's going to be opened in 3 months. You could technically open it up to funding from individuals. So if there's somebody on the other side of the world that has crypto or fiat that wants to invest in Firefly, as long as they're an actual real estate project, they could do that. Like that's like out there now, and that's going to be available. That's not government funding, but it's people funding. Like it's a way to raise money and tokenize it. I think like a minimum of $1,000 people could invest in a project, and so that's a whole other opportunity for funding out there for anybody that has a building, a real asset. So I think that should be taken a look at. Anybody that has a school, anything, you don't have to use a bank anymore. The block cities, and it's already with the SEC and all that, so it's already legal. I think that is a good opportunity for people to learn more. Papa Joe had talked to him a lot about that too, which I think that should be another subject for homeschooling, is how to raise money for it. And I think that Brian would be able to come on, because it's good to have things in our metaverse, but that's a metaverse you could raise money.
Sure.
And this is good for communities, whether it's hemp or anything else. We have a lot of people that reach out to us, and we have a great partnership with Block Cities. So anything that needs to be tokenized, any tokenized real estate, we can get you set up for that.
And one of the things that we're looking at doing at Firefly is allocating a portion of the funds that come in towards different liquidity pools that fund different things. And one of those things that we want to fund is new chapters. Like, if you need to lease a building, if you need to buy computers, if you need to buy a particular curriculum that you can't afford, we would have, like in the Dash model, you would vote and allocate funds toward that project, and or toward that, whatever that need is. And that's something that we want to do. We want to be self-funding for our own chapters. If they're springing up all over the world, we want to be able to send them money to be able to get them the resources they need. So that's part of the platform.
Well, that'd be a good thing to talk to Brian from Block Cities about, is how to get it started, because it's gonna be here in the next couple. I think it's about 2 months away, or 2.5 months away.
Yeah.
Yeah, MetaBuilders has a call with Brian from Block Cities tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. So
Oh, nice.
Who does?
hopefully we can help. We do, MetaBuilders.
Oh, with who?
Brian.
Brian
yeah.
and Block Cities.
Yeah, no, I think that it's great. Like different metaverses working together. Like that's why I have a lot of respect for Jen. It's like, yeah, you're out here in Uplift, but then you also were very welcoming to Brian and Block Cities, and it just makes it easier, because we're a community, we're a network, and the more we're all connected and help one another, the easier it is to compete in education and everything else. So yeah, it's exciting. But that's what I would like to see. Yeah, I would like to see education fully funded on the blockchain, have different opportunities for everybody. Like, yeah, I want this option, this option, this option, and be able to afford it and have it something that parents could feel good about being involved in. I think it's possible.
I think so. I think that's absolutely delightful.
Yeah.
What about you, Derwin? What's your big wish?
So I was talking with the missus right now, and that's why my head kept looking over there. and one of her wishes is a virtual field trip to bring the kids on a field trip to learn
Oh, wow.
more of what's going on, either in person or virtual. And then my personal goal is somehow create a like-minded owner's manual on how to educate homeschool, because it's basically you're figuring it out as you go. You know, it's taking what the curriculum that is given by whatever company or project you sign up with, and then helping them figure out, okay, that's wrong, that's right, and according to your belief system, right? So there's all kinds, like Papa Joe said, there's all kinds of indoctrination going on. How do you decipher which indoctrination you want your child to go through? Whether it's, like I said earlier, the Tesla being more important than natural gas or diesel when we need them all. So those are the things that we were talking about and hoping our kids can learn more from.
Well, the big difference between public school and homeschool is this word indoctrination, which really means to teach a person or a group a set of beliefs uncritically, like without questioning them critically, right? And so that's what you're getting with the public school system. So just by homeschooling, you're going to be inevitably be teaching your kids to think critically about what they're learning. So it's like you're not really indoctrinating your own kids, because you're teaching them thought processes, not necessarily what to think, but how to think. Whereas, in state-run education, they're being taught what to think.
Yeah.
Exactly. I totally agree with that statement.
And I love Jen's idea. Tell her that. I think the virtual field trips is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And, be sure and tell her I said hello. The virtual field trips, and like, I also like what you said about the like-minded people, and that's what I love about the community, is everybody brings their ideas together, and there's just so many how we can collaborate, and we really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, and so we'll keep in touch. We've got the land. We'll see how we could use that for field trips, and it's an easy thing that we have right now, but it doesn't mean they can't go into other worlds. I say, we continue on working at it, and then what's the time frame for the building? Is it still a couple of weeks that we could invite people to build more? Is it?
I don't have a clear idea on exactly what the time frame is.
Okay.
I wish that I did. There are circumstances that are beyond anybody's control on that one. So it's hopefully really, really soon.
Yeah, and then once we do it, the area is not open to the public right now, right? And
Yeah. Well, kind of. I mean, everything is going to be. They have a little bit more testing to do before they hit the button, and then everything's going to be wide open to everybody. You'll still only be able to build on land that you own or are a member of, but everybody will be welcome.
Well, hopefully we'll have a good grand opening. I think it's a good opportunity to have some type of presentation, something fun for the homeschooling. So I say that that's a good project, a good first project to work on. And we'll just that's the only challenge we have now is getting in there with the building. But that will happen, I'm sure.
We'll have a ribbon cutting in the mushroom forest.
That's wonderful. I will be there.
Okay,
I think that would be delightful. And my big wish is simply disruption of the education. It is essentially critical thinking, but it's complete disruption. Whatever you're used to learning, whatever ways you're used to being taught, my wish is that there is a small bit of disruption that gives you pause and makes you think about everything you know and ask better questions. And that's always my big wish in everything in life. And often I bring that, but sometimes I don't. So I want kids to have that experience so that they know that they can ask questions.
With those. Well, good. Well, I'm glad everyone's coming on. Like, you still are invited back. Like, we do want to do more educational stuff. And I think it's a good thing to have questions and answers. I like the format of everything. And it's just a journey. You know, we're trying as hard as we can to make something happen for people so they have something to look back at and a good base for everybody. So we just have to make it work. Janice and I could offer the land and offer things, but we can't, like, I don't know how to build.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah.
it's
And
gonna be
anyone
good.
who has interns for kids too, like if we have a couple of them, if anyone at home has someone, we're looking for kids that maybe are interested in video editing and speaking. We have adults that have shows, but wouldn't it be cool to have a kid that we could train to do some shows? We're looking for that. Kids interested in smart contracts, kids interested in building, just kids interested in doing stuff. We'll try to find a place for them, websites, anything. We want to give them practical education. We can't do that many, but we could do maybe some in each category.
So both of my kids are super interested in launching their own YouTube channels.
Okay.
My son knows more about trains,
Wow.
every single type of train there is out there, because he watched Thomas growing up since he was born. And he can tell you, if you go to a museum full of trains, he'll tell you what a diesel engine is, what an
Wow.
electrical engine is, what every single train is. And he can't wait to start his own show. So I'm just getting him set up and
Yeah, get them set up, because NFTV worldwide, that's going to be a good platform for a lot of things like this. Like, we'll have normal things, but I also want kids on there, and whatever, and if they're teaching something and if it's fun, and especially let them interview some people too. Like, if that's what they like, we might say, hey, yeah, why don't we could do some fun things with it if they're interested and want to get out there. We want to have that ability. If they like to edit things, I think that we want to give them the opportunity. If they want to do a show, if they like interviewing, if they want to do some type of a presentation, we want to make sure that we have opportunities for the kids that are already interested in it. Because if they're interested, it's 100 times easier. You don't even have to ask. They're excited, and that's what I like seeing. I want to see some excitement out there.
Well, what Cheryl does not know is in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be meeting up with a group of teenage experts in NFTs. And
cool.
I'm going to have a panel of the teenagers that are just running with NFTs. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, maybe it's good to have a kid on here once in a while. Like,
Definitely.
The whole group of them.
interested in a subject. Just, keep us posted on kids like that, because that's how we've gotten our intern. It's always been their parents talking to us first and getting to know us first, and then their kid takes the opportunity to contact us. It's never the parent. The kid always, hi, I'm so and so, I'd like to talk to you. Then we have them send us a resume of what they're interested in, what they've accomplished, and then we set up a time, and then we find something that they're interested in, and it might be one project or two projects. And that's how it's been working. It's not just random people that we don't know. These are kids that actually have spent a lot of time educating themselves. So we need young people.
And with that being said, and I know we're going to wrap it up in just a minute or two, I think you guys are great role models. Those who are homeschooling, I have a lot of respect for. Obviously, we both have a lot of respect for you and all that you're doing.
Yeah, anybody on this panel, we've said before, we're inviting you on here because we feel that you have something to offer the community. We know that we want a common network for everybody that we could all be part of. So yeah, we feel you have something to offer, and we hope that we could continue on educating our children. That's very important to us. Very important.
And thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for having us on.
everybody.
Yeah,
Thanks to all of
Metaverse be
you.
with you.
And thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Absolutely. This is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jen is amazing. She helped me for at least 45 minutes on jumping into Minecraft, and I'm waiting for Minecraft technical support to help me out. So,
Awesome.
but what she did was amazing. Take the time out of her own schedule to figure out what was going on, and basically, I just need to download it to a new device and try it over until technical support reaches out. So, but thank you, Jen. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome, and best of luck on
Yeah.
that too.
Thanks,
I'll
guys.
co-sign that and say anybody who has any kind of blockchain or metaverse or Minecraft type things they want to share, like Jen is amazing at being able to organize these types of shows. And you know, Jen, if you had any openings on your show, it's like I would encourage other people to hit you up because it's a great way to showcase your brand.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And I do actually have openings. I'm going to have to start putting the link for booking that in the show description because I haven't been. So I'll do that. I'll get on that. But yeah, I have lots of openings coming up. So if anybody wants to talk about anything, bounce around ideas, have something that you want to show off that you've built or ideas for the metaverse, I'm open.
Yeah. And different shows too. We're doing this one education. We want to, you know, add some other things to this show too. So, yeah, give us a call because we're here. We want you to think of it as your network and something that you could participate in. So we're open to ideas also.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thanks.
September is going to be Block City, so we're going to talk a lot about before they open about tokenized real estate and how it could raise money for education. So those will be some good shows to be on also.
That sounds good. I'm looking forward
Good.
to that.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you. And we'll see everybody, or some of you anyway, next week. And have a joyful rest of your Monday.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
Bye-bye.
Take care. And there was two. Everybody dropped off.
Bye, Gerwin.
Hi, it's just me and you. Where'd everybody go?